Echo 5, do you copy? Echo 5.
Echo 2, good morning. Nice of you to drop by.
Feeling alright, sir? Thought we lost you.
Right now, I feel like I can take on this whole podcast myself.
I know what you mean. Ready to send that transmission to Echo Base?
Yes, sir. R10, patch through.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Hoth Transmissions. So tonight we are going to be discussing
Obi-Wan.
Yes. And I think you guys were probably as excited as we are. And so we're going to jump into it. So
The first, how did you like it's funny they have this this intro where they give us a quick backstory on Anakin and Obi-Wan. And it's funny because when you're really paying attention to it, it makes you wonder about certain hints they mentioned that are probably going to be in the 6 episodes of the series. And it's also funny because it's got this like really intense music, and it seems like it's like last time in Star Wars. You know, it's like this. It's like, you know, you see Anakin, yippee, you know, like, and then you see like, you know, Hayden Christensen, you know, he's holding me back, you know, and, and it's going, and it's like playing this really like dreary, almost like soap opera type music when it's giving you like, or like one of those dramas, those TV dramas where it's telling you what happened, something intense happened, and it's like to be continued, and now you're continuing the story. It's just kind of funny. But anyway,
I really enjoyed that, to be honest.
it was good. It was really good. But if you pay attention, it mentions little things, little key things in there that I'm hoping we'll see in the show. For example, it shows obviously baby Luke, baby Leia. So before I even watched the show, I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool to see a young Leia. And I had no idea we were going to see a young Leia. I knew we were going to see young Luke because of the trailer, but I didn't have any clue about the young Leia. So that was cool. And then they have that whole thing about where Yoda tells Obi-Wan at the end of Revenge of the Sith, in your solitude on Tatooine, training I have for your training. He's like, yeah, your old master's, you know, found a path from another side of the Force, or however he worded it, you know, Qui-Gon, you know. So there's all these little things they're mentioning in that kind of prelude to the pilot. There's a lot more. That's just a couple examples, but it makes you think, oh, that's cool. So does that mean we're gonna see, I don't know, we're gonna see Qui-Gon maybe? You know, and obviously it shows a lot. And it shows a lot of stuff about Anakin too. Like I'm wondering now. I actually want to go back and watch the trailer and see what we haven't seen in these 2 episodes, just to see what else we can look forward to. The only thing off the top of my head I could think of is I know we see the Inquisitors home on their home planet. But yeah, you see them like at a table or something, and they're going over some plan. And I don't.
That's right, and the Grand Inquisitor's there.
Is the Grand Inquisitor there? Okay, I thought he wasn't there. I need to rewatch that trailer.
I'm gonna pull it up right now, but I'm pretty sure the Grand Inquisitor is the one sitting at the table.
Okay, because I could have swore it's Reva and so the Inquisitors. What numbers do we have in there? So we got the 5th brother, we got the 3rd sister Reva, the Grand Inquisitor, and then is that the 7th sister or the 8th?
I want to say this. I think it's 7th sister.
It's the 8th sister.
Let me find out. I have it pulled up right now.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, come on.
4th sister.
The 4th sister. That's the one that we see show up on Dayu. With the grand. Okay, gotcha.
She was also there, and was she there on Tatooine, or was it just 5th brother?
No, on Tatooine it was just 5th brother Reva and the Grand Inquisitor.
Okay, so 4th sister shows up.
You know, did you notice how?
Ooh, that's
Oh, well, I'll wait till you watch this. Did you see anything else?
Okay, yeah, so it's 4th sister, Reva, Grand Inquisitor, and a bunch of Imperials at the table.
Gotcha. So no Grand Inquisitor?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so he's not there. Gosh, I hope that guy survives.
I'm annoyed. If they kill him, I'm just so annoyed.
I'm going to be pissed off if they kill him. Not only is it mess up canon, but he was probably the most intriguing character in the. Oh yeah, he was definitely the most intriguing Inquisitor. I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
Again, Reva's leading a bunch of stormtroopers and.
Yeah.
So Reva, yeah, fifth brother and Reva, or fourth sister.
At the palace, or at their. So obviously we get Darth Vader.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting any more of the Inquisitor.
Gosh, I don't know. I think it would be cool if he shows up. He goes back to or someone takes him to Tatooine and fixes him at that robotic place, that parlor.
Please don't say that. Sounds lame.
He's gonna be like, oh yeah, no, for sure.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow night at midnight. That's for sure.
I know. No, I'm excited. I'm excited because I love these shows when you watch the trailer and they pretty much show. I love when they show the first like 3 or 4 episodes of the show, but the rest you haven't seen. So when you actually watch the episode, it's all completely new. Like with Mandalorian, like season 1 and especially season 2, you didn't see all the scenes from throughout the show throughout the season. You saw like the first 4 episodes. I remember for season 2, I don't remember seeing anything after episode 4. So there was like 4 episodes where I'm like, I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't know where they're going to take this, what direction they're going to go.
Yeah.
I hear rumors about Ahsoka. You know, I had heard rumors about Bo-Katan before, and I wasn't sure if she'd show up, and bam, she showed up. So they're probably going to use Ahsoka. There was rumors about Rosario Dawson back then, and it was fun because we didn't know. It wasn't like it's typical trailer for a movie when you kind of can guess or have a general idea of where the story's going to go. So with this Obi-Wan show, I only remember seeing maybe 3, 4 episodes. There's got to be at least 2, if not 3 episodes where there's no footage in that trailer. So if not very, very briefly. So anyway, it's exciting. I like not knowing. But yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, he was awesome. I'm assuming he's still an Utapau. He didn't look completely like an Utapau, or is it Utapau or Utapau? Utapau.
Either or.
Doesn't really matter. Tomato, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, both Grand Inquisitors are good. Don't get me wrong. I like Jason Isaacs' Grand Inquisitor in Rebels, but this guy was fantastic. I thought for a live action Inquisitor. I don't know if maybe they tried the skinny head version and it looked funny, like an egghead or a cone head, maybe. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. They look fine in Revenge of the Sith, you know. But I don't know. I think he did great. In fact, I really hope he comes back. But I don't know. What did you think about him?
So my thoughts on honestly, like, dude, like it's a hard question because when we saw the trailer, I was very disappointed with his look. I was probably one of the haters that as soon as I saw him, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look like a Grand Inquisitor. He doesn't look intimidating. Why didn't they do this with him? Like, I had so many nitpickings on it, and especially like with the eyes, because I was like, he doesn't have the yellow eyes. He doesn't have the narrow face.
Did they change those after because you don't see them in the trailer?
You don't.
Okay. Yeah, he looked great.
So,
he looked great with the eyes.
So upon watching the actual show, they fixed the eyes, and I'm like, okay, all right. I think that was my only complaint that I think I needed to fix to really like this character. Not to mention, like, the actor himself really sold the role.
Yeah. No, he did a good job.
Like, at the very beginning when he walks in, it's like he commands the room.
Yes, big time. I love how sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say commanding presence.
Yeah, no, I love how he like you said, he controls the room. He comes in and he starts this whole spiel about you guys had a Jedi, and he talks about how they can't help it. They find themselves, and I know I just like the way he talks, and how he just builds to this. He builds up the story. He's smart. He's very intelligent, and he's just figuring out the whole thing. You have this. You guys were, getting attacked or whatever, and so he can't help it. He's going to come and try to help, and then you gave him shelter here from the Suns, and you're harboring him, and he's just going through this whole thing, and then and it's just building up the tension, and he's starting to get louder, and everybody's just kind of on edge, and up to it was great. It was fantastic.
Do you know who we are? You hunt Jedi. One would say the Jedi hunt themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't help it.
They can't
Jedi
help
see
it. Yeah.
someone in need,
such
as yourself, and they can't help themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, just the way that, like, we were talking about it through text before. Like, he's very rhythmic in the way he talks.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know if you use this word yet, but very poetic in the way that he talks. So I remember that's another word that you used when we were texting. And you almost compared him to like Lord of the Rings style verbiage.
Yeah, no, he's intelligent. He's definitely a smart guy. He's not. It's funny because the dynamic between him and Reva is they're opposite. He's patient. He's very patient. That's one thing I like about him. He's very patient. He's calm. Yeah, he's very smart. But I mean, Reva did have a point. She's basically saying, the fifth brother told her later in the episode, you go too far, and she's like,
impulsive.
Okay, you're impulsive, and she says, well, you don't go far enough, and the funny thing is she is the one that found him. But it seems like I think because the Grand Inquisitor is so smart, I don't think, because he kept trying to stop Reva, I don't think they were supposed to find Kenobi. I think that they're supposed to save him for Vader. I'm sure he's not that. If Reva can figure it, I'm sure he can too. And he's probably. I have a feeling they might have been told, leave Kenobi for me, or I guess if they find him, their job is probably to bring him in.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't know who knows about Anakin and the Vader thing. Apparently she does, but that's something we'll kind of explore a little bit. But
yeah, not jumping into the episode too. I find it really annoying that she knew that Anakin was Vader. Just because, based off of a lot of my knowledge of even Legends, but Vader himself, Vader is an angry person. He lost the lovers of his life. He knew he had children, so he knew they died with her. And everything that he knows is gone. Jedi Order, his master, everything is gone. He's stuck in this role. And I want to say that he's feeling shame, and the only way that he can really express it is through anger. And so he's like, all right, well, this is my life now, so this is what it is. And so Anakin Skywalker died with the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And in a lot of legend stuff, and I want to say it's in canon too, because especially like if he is in his meditation chamber, he takes his helmet off, as we saw in Empire Strikes Back. If an Imperial officer walked in and saw his face, they were killed immediately.
Yeah.
And even when you read Bloodlines, nobody in the galaxy knew Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader. Like, Leia kept it hidden too. Like, she's like, I don't want people to know Vader was my father because that's going to mess with my whole political position. And so that the Inquisitors know that Anakin is Vader was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and he's even in Return of the Jedi, when Luke throws out to him, I know that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father, and he gets like real pissed. He's like, that name no longer has any meaning. Like he's like, basically, don't bring, it's like a forbidden name, So yeah, it's kind of weird of all people. Yeah, let's just give it to this random new character. I don't know. I guess we'll see more, but I don't know. It's not. I'm with you on that. I wasn't super about that. I don't know that why she deserves to be the one that knows about Anakin. I'm sure they have some type of background. There's a lot of theories that Reva's probably that girl we saw in the beginning, the Order 66 scene. That she's one of the younglings. Yeah, because that's another thing. Why would they show that? Why would they show that scene? And why would they show that scene in the beginning? Yeah. Why would they set us? Obviously, because Order 66. But why would they show those younglings? Perhaps those younglings, or some of them became Inquisitors. She seems like she had something against Kenobi, like she had a personal thing against him, and maybe even Anakin. Because she's constantly going on about, the Jedi abandoned you, they left you. She
Maybe she felt like that master didn't protect her well enough,
that's
and
that's
she's
what I'm.
holding a grudge. Because
Yeah,
there was a
exactly.
youngling with the same skin color, so you just kind of naturally assume that they show you the scene and then they jump forward and then you see Inquisitors and she comes up.
Yeah. Random fact real quick, that, or not fact, but just that fight was so cool with that Jedi in the beginning. That was a Jedi fight right there. That was so cool. When the Jedi was trying to protect her students.
Dude, that's something I've been wanting to see out of a Jedi for like the longest time. Every time
Yeah.
we see Jedi on screen, we do not ever see anything like that. So it
Yeah.
was really cool to see those maneuvers, fighting for your
Mhm.
life. Because like when we saw Order 66 in the Revenge of the Sith, even like the Jedi Master's like, oh, I'm confused about what's going on. Boom, boom, up, I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they definitely had the tensity going up in that scene. It was fantastic. It was awesome. If you look in that shot too, it's kind of cool when it opens up. There's like some trees, then you look out in the city right before, and then it kind of pulls you into the scene where the kids are all kind of practicing. Um, if you look really far in the distance, you can see Padme's apartment, and that kind of gives me chills because you're thinking of her right now, like in the scene of Revenge of the Sith. She's when like 3PO comes up, and do you need anything? And she's just kind of like, she's like crying. So it just kind of makes you think of that's all happening right there. It's kind of cool.
Dude, I did not put that together. I actually was only focusing I'm like, oh man, these are some really cool like moves that the teacher's teaching the kids. Oh
Yeah.
crap, clone troopers. I didn't even think to look out the window and see what they
What's
included.
What's funny because they didn't, or not funny, but sad is those poor kids didn't have lightsabers with them. They were just doing like their fighting moves, and just the teacher had the lightsaber. Not that they would have been, stood much of a chance if the master or the Jedi Knight wasn't able to survive. But yeah, it's crazy, those clones. They just caught everybody by surprise, and it gives you chills too when you hear that echoing of Order 66. And it makes you think, if you're lining up all the stories, Sidious isn't stupid. He probably knows that there are some clones out there that possibly broke free from Order 66, or at least
Mm-hmm.
felt some type of conscience like Rex, and he keeps like just repeating it
And
over
fought
and over.
it.
He's just pounding that into their minds, and you can hear that just kind of echoing, execute Order 66, execute, and you hear it like constantly like repeating, and it's really chilling. It's awesome though. It's cool. That whole scene,
Oh
that
heck
was
yeah.
an, that was an awesome way to open the show. That was fantastic. And then uh, you and I talked a little bit about Obi-Wan briefly before we got into this discussion, but one thing that you kept mentioning that I saw you talking about was how beaten uh, Obi-Wan is, which is, it's really insane to see him like that. He just seems so like done, and he's just out of the
Because I
game.
think because it reminds me from I don't think he was in any of the movies. I'm pretty sure this quote is taken from the Clone Wars.
Hmm.
And oh man, I'm gonna butcher it terribly, but I'm just gonna summarize it. But Anakin's talking to Obi-Wan, and he's like, Obi-Wan's like, I don't think I could sleep very well if I knew I failed you. And Anakin's like, well, good thing that's never gonna happen, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so here it comes 10 years later, Obi-Wan is still having PTSD from the whole experience.
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna see if
exactly.
I can find the meme so I can have the wording on it because
And
it's
then
just
and
really
then
heartbreaking.
and then he wakes up after those flashes, and then he's asking for Qui-Gon, which
Mm-hmm.
it's making me now. I'm wondering, and I don't know what you got from this, but has he already tapped in and communicating with him, or is he still just trying to do it?
I think he still might be trying for it.
Because Yoda basically gave him hope that there's a way to do it, and if that's why he's doing it, maybe for all these years, I feel like
Because
they're holding that for. I saw an episode or a interview with Liam Neeson, and they were asking him about showing up in the series, and he just had a straight face, not like a yes, not a no. He was just, and the guy goes, "No, I know you're not allowed to answer, but if blah blah blah, and he was just asking questions, but Liam Neeson wasn't budging at all. So literally, like, you have no idea if he's going to show up or not in any way, if it's just a voice or something. But he did have his voice in Clone Wars, so I'd be surprised if we at least get his voice, and if it's by canon, maybe we'll just get the little sparkly things in his voice dancing around Obi-Wan's room. I don't know. Dude,
No,
what if he goes? Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I just had some
I say
thoughts.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Kenobi because I mean Yoda implies that he's already spoken to Qui-Gon.
Oh, you mean Qui-Gon? You said we've seen Kenobi already.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude,
That's the show.
I'm pretty sure Kenobi's gonna speak to him because we've already seen with Yoda. Yoda's already mentioned that it's like, oh yeah, with your master I spoke. Got some more training for you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so
To
I'm
commune with it.
feeling Kenobi may have had some connection.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was.
But
Yeah.
I was gonna say also Kenobi feels kind of like Luke at this point from Last Jedi, where he's disconnected himself from the Force.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah,
wondering
for sure.
how much. But then there's also points where you see him before Bill calls him. He's sitting there meditating outside his cave.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so what I was gonna say, I'm wondering now, so he's in this cave, and I'm wondering when he's going to get his homestead that we see in A New Hope. I'm wondering if he'll get that home at the end of the show, because we still have 9 years until A New Hope takes place, because this is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. I don't. I'm just gonna assume we're not gonna see his house, but it would be kind of fun in the end if he gets his little home, But I assume this. I'm actually surprised that already this guy has left the. I guess we'll get to that as part of the episode
I
two.
found the quote. It is from Clone Wars.
Which one is that?
I don't think I'd sleep well knowing I failed you, Anakin. Good thing that'll never happen.
Gotcha. Okay, then that's sad.
Very sad.
Jeez. What did you think of Nari, the Jedi?
He annoyed me.
Yeah, he was whatever. He was okay. I don't know. I'm like, he's not. I don't know. He's just
Maybe he just annoyed me because of Kenobi. Kenobi's trying to live like this life where he's just off in the desert. He's like, all right, I'm just trying to keep a low profile.
And he was
I'm
fine.
watching over this kid. I'm having no dealings with the Empire because even the fifth brother's like, Kenobi, he's gone. We'll never find him. Blah blah blah. And they're literally like feet from him, and they have no clue.
Yeah.
And then you got the stupid Jedi who happens to cross him. How, I don't know.
He's like exposing him.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, I saw you in the city, so I followed you." Well,
yeah.
All right, whatever. I don't know what kind of Jedi you were that you. Well, I mean, I guess everybody knew Kenobi through Clone Wars, but still, he was a pretty famous Jedi. But still, this guy just comes in. It's like, Obi-Wan, I got the Inquisitors after me. You have to help me. I don't have to do nothing. It's
Yeah.
like, you got yourself in this. You figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You
got yourself caught.
Yeah, he's like, I've got more important things. I can't help you. Well, I've got nowhere to go. Well, not my problem, buddy.
Yeah. He's
I'll
trying to
give you some advice.
He's trying to guilt trip him. Yeah. Bury
He's
your
like, here's
lightsaber in the
advice.
desert and go home.
Yeah, it's like, and leave me alone.
Yeah.
And guy obviously doesn't listen to him. He gets himself hung.
I like. How'd you like Obi-Wan's little Jawa friend, Tika?
I thought that whole interaction was cool.
I thought it was funny how he's talking about his little fan unit, and he's like, "Oh, I
if
got
you're gonna
so
steal from me, you
yeah,
might as well clean it.
yeah." He's like,
Cleaning's
"Oh,
extra."
cleaning's extra." Yeah, I just thought it was funny, the little Tatooine, typical Star Wars humor. It was kind of fun. They threw that in there, even though he's going through like a a somber kind of time. But one thing I noticed too about Obi-Wan is just even the way he talks or presents himself is much slower than his pace in Revenge of the Sith. He's really, really slowed down. Just the way that, like when he's talking to Luke or talking about Luke to Uncle Owen, he's just like, but when the time comes, he must be trained. And he's just like, I don't know, he's just his pace
He
is
trained his
much.
father.
Yeah. That guy's such a jerk.
He's my responsibility.
Yeah. Well, he's the funny thing is I didn't catch this till the second time I watched it. Joel Edgerton, the actor that plays him, he's obviously got his Australian accent, and he's clearly playing the Uncle Owen kind of farmer American-ish farmer accent, which is awesome. And I didn't catch that till the second time I was watching the episode, and you kind of hear the way he talks is a lot more like a farmer, like he talks a lot more like the Uncle Owen we get in A New Hope. And I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
it
actually
does,
right on
yeah,
that one.
yeah. But at the same time, I was thinking like, oh, maybe they'll have a resolve in their situation, their friendship. But if they want to keep it consistent, Uncle Owen's just going to be the way he is because he's just like that in A New Hope. He's just a crazy old man, you know. So, but I did like the Model T16 that Obi-Wan's making him, and then he drops
Yeah,
it
I thought
off
that
his
was
house.
that
That was
was a cool Easter egg.
I'm assuming at the end of the show he's gonna get it to him somehow because obviously he has it. But
That's what I
kind
was
of.
thinking.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that's what I was thinking too.
I think it's funny the parallels between young Luke and Leia. When Obi-Wan's watching young Luke, Uncle Owen's out and he's looking for him. He's like, Luke, you know, I like how they do it. Luke. He's like looking for him. And then he's up there on the other side, you know, wearing like the goggles like little Annie did, like little Anakin did. Pod racing looking goggles, and he's kind of hiding, he's pretending he's flying. His mind's kind of in you know, another world. His mind's not really there at the farm. And it's kind of similar to Leia in her situation on Alderaan, which I know we'll talk about Alderaan in a second, but when
Oh,
she's in
that's right.
Alderaan,
Yeah.
she's kind of running off. She's kind of doing her own thing, and she's just more interested in kind of what's beyond what's out there. It's kind of fun to see how the twins are in a similar situation, wanting to see the bigger world, and of course, knowing how
They
big
want
they've
more out of
become.
life than their circumstance.
Exactly, but it's interesting how Luke's just on this farm and he's just this farmer's boy now, and then Leia's got this very sophisticated aristocratic type life, and it's playing that fancy music, and they're tying her shoes and doing her hair and putting on the robes. It's very, very like upper class. It's just kind of it's really funny. So,
Oh yeah, very very funny.
but no, I was very excited to see Alderaan. I know this is the second time that we've seen Alderaan in Star Wars. We saw it in the it was on one of the Old Republic trailers with the but as far as the films,
Live
um,
action.
live action, yeah, this is the second time we saw it. And Alderaan's always from the little glimpse that I got in Revenge of the Sith, it's always that Kashyyyk and Alderaan have always been my favorite Star Wars planets, and I always wanted more of them. We get both of them in Revenge of the Sith. A lot more Kashyyyk than Alderaan, even though I still want to see a lot more Kashyyyk. But but Alderaan, it was exciting that we got a lot more of it in this show. It was prominently featured throughout the whole first episode, which was really cool, I thought. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's exactly the way I remember it in my dreams. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah,
No.
like for you guys that have been listening to our podcast like from the beginning, you hear us talk about Alderaan tons and tons of times. So it's really cool that we got this experience to be able to jump more into it.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting, and it's that planet that gets blown up in A New Hope, so you don't really get to see much of it, but we know it's a beautiful planet. And we finally got a quick tease of it at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and I'm sitting here thinking with all these projects Disney's doing that are you know, between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, or anything that's before A New Hope, I was surprised we didn't get a lot of it. Even in Clone Wars, we don't really get much of it. So I was very excited to actually get Alderaan featured in this episode. It was really exciting, and it's kind of
And
fun. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, keep going.
No, I was just going to say that the scenery in Alderaan is actually the Swiss Alps in Switzerland, which is actually the same where Rivendell from Lord of the Rings got its or Tolkien got its inspiration from Lauterbrunnen, a
Ooh.
certain part of the Swiss Alps. That's where he got. That's actually Tolkien has a drawing of Rivendell, and it is this town of Lauterbrunnen is pretty much Rivendell. That's in the Swiss Alps, and Alderaan is basically the same general area. It's not Lauterbrunnen, but it is the same mountain range, the Swiss Alps, the same area. So
Right.
it's just a very beautiful place, and it's really cool to see it featured. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite planets. I hope we get to see more of it, but I'm glad we saw what we saw of it. So
I think we'll get a little bit more of it, but not as much as we probably think. Probably
yeah,
drop off Leia, have a scene with Obi-Wan Kenobi there, and then he leaves.
no, honestly, it's fine. I'm satisfied with what we saw of it. It was really cool.
Me too. And based on what we saw, I found it really curious that there's not much of an Imperial presence there.
Yeah,
I found that very curious.
Bale kind of just has his own thing going on.
Mm-hmm. And I figured
So,
the Empire is like in everybody's business. And so
yeah.
I found it fascinating that you see everything going on and you don't really see Imperials. Maybe it's just because we're focused more on the Organa side and not in the actual like city. So
Yeah,
maybe
for
the
sure.
stormtroopers walk in the cities, but I just figured that the Imperials would be a little bit more present. And
Yeah,
here we are on Alderaan, and it seems a little bit more peaceful.
it reminds me of Naboo in Phantom Menace times before the invasion.
Yes.
Or I guess better yet, Naboo in Attack of the Clones post invasion when it's kind of peaceful and everybody's just doing their thing and there's no problems happening yet. But yeah,
9
no,
years
you're right. That's
before it gets blown up.
yeah, exactly.
So
One thing I really
peaceful.
I know it's actually sad when you're looking around. I was actually when I'm watching, that's what the first thing that came to my mind is like, oh, this place gets destroyed in 9 years. That's terrible. You know,
Her cousin gets just killed. That's
I
cool.
was gonna say the cousin and the uncle, they can go. Or if that's
We
how
haven't
the
even seen the uncle, but the uncle sounds like a douche.
wasn't the uncle the one that he was talking to when they first show that scene? He's talking to him and his uncle says or the guy that tells him, he's like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not here to enslave her. I'm just here to eat your food. He's
Yeah.
kind of a
I
jerk.
didn't put two and two together, but I think that is the uncle. Yeah, that guy was a douche too.
And I love how Leia just rips into the cousin. He's sitting there trying to, oh, you're not a real Organa. And she's all like, oh, well, you've never thought up anything in your life. You just copy your dad. And you're scared
He's
of
a
it.
mimic.
Yeah. You're never going to accomplish anything in your life. You're just going to basically copy what he does.
Yeah.
He just, it was just kind of funny. She's very, very much remind me of like the A New Hope Leia, like into the garbage chute, fly boy, you know, you,
What a
it's
wonderful smell you've discovered.
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah,
I know
just
that's Han's line, but still, just
yeah,
like that personality, that banter, it just works so well from A New Hope on, and so
yeah.
they're developing that
Even even
personality.
even all the way up through General Leia in the sequel trilogy. I just think that, and yeah, no, I just think that
How old are
I
you?
yeah
You
yeah
don't seem like a 10-year-old.
yeah. You don't see like no, she was great. I enjoyed all the scenes with her and Alderaan and running off. And what I want to particularly mention what I really liked in there was Bail Organa as a father figure.
Yes,
He was awesome. Like how he was just
he is
saying
such a
that.
great father.
Yeah, I like how he's just saying you are an Organa in every way. Like he was just very like, and he just tell that he meant it. He did a very good job. Jimmy Smits, I love that guy's awesome. He does a great Bail Organa, and even I love gosh, why can't I think of her name, his wife?
Breha.
Breha. I want to say Baru because I get mixed with her. Baru,
Hmm.
yeah, Breha, yeah, she was Breha Organa. She was fantastic.
Both of
So
them were great. Like, she's a little bit more strict than he is, but she's a little bit more lenient, as you can see.
yeah,
And I think that's one of my favorite things. I love the interaction between Bill and Leia. Like,
yes,
she's
yes,
sitting there saying, "I don't want to apologize him. The guy's been a douche to everybody here. Why should I be
yeah, he's
nice
a
to him?"
jerk. Yeah,
And he's like, "Well, just think of all the times you're going to be able to boss him in the future. So
yeah,
for now, we'll laugh about it. Go apologize to him, but this is what you got to look forward to in the future."
yeah,
And then he kind of does that little chuckle and kind of. I just thought the whole
yeah.
interaction with them, it
He
was
knows what
just
she's gonna do.
very tender. It was a tender moment.
Yeah, no, it was great. And then I like when he goes back to his wife and he apologize, and he's just like, you know how she is. And she's off doing her thing. That
Just
was
reminds
awesome.
me of a certain someone.
Yeah. Um, quick flash over to Tatooine real quick too. Did you notice too how Obi-Wan, it's just showing his every single day routine. It shows it like 3 times how he's chopping the meat. He
Cutting
puts a
meat.
little he's a meat cutter. He's cutting meat. He's putting little meat in his he's stashing a little bit way. And then he just shows him riding on the skiff back into Mos Eisley, back into town. And it's just like constant. It's just really funny.
I
And then
felt so
another
bad
oh,
for
sorry,
him
go ahead.
because
Yeah.
just like just his routine, you can tell how beaten he is.
Yeah.
Because he
He's
even tells
just
that Jedi guy, he's like, "The fight is over. We're done. The time of the Jedi
we
is
lost.
gone."
Yeah, we lost.
Yeah.
We lost the fight.
And the guy's like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about?" And so you can see Obi-Wan is just like, "Are you giving up?" He's like, "I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to live out the rest of my days watching over this kid. This is how it's gonna be."
But
So
even going back, Yoda did tell him. He said until the time is right, basically, you're gonna watch over the boy, and then the girl's gonna be here, and Bill Organa volunteered to take Leia, but he basically said we're gonna disappear until the time's right. He pretty much left some type of hope that there will be a day when they'll get their revenge or they'll be able to balance the Force.
that the
Um,
Jedi get their return.
yeah, exactly. The day will come, and he's basically it's interesting too, just sitting there thinking as he's watching Luke, he's just watching him get older, and
Mhm.
knowing how the Jedi are, they train these kids from such a young age. It must kind of be very painful for him to just watch this kid with so much potential, knowing who he is, just grow up on this farm all the way up until he's 19 years old,
The
until
boy
something
must be
finally
trained.
happens. Yeah, but he must be trained. Like he trained his father. Yeah, and so that line,
Anakin is dead.
yeah,
Just leave the boy to his family.
yeah, I
He doesn't
know, and
have
he just,
responsibility.
yeah, it's just it's sad too because this during those times too, that he thinks Anakin's dead, he thinks he failed him, or he obviously for obvious reasons, but I mean technically Anakin is dead, but
Yeah, I was gonna
he
say at
thinks
that point Anakin is dead.
he is, but he thinks he's dead, like completely. Vader's dead, Anakin's dead. He doesn't
Hmm.
even, and I didn't even realize that when I was first watching the episode until the scene we see later, but I kind of was putting 2 and 2 together. I was like, well, I guess, yeah, he left him at the lava, left him at the edge. He was burning, and
Hmm.
he looks heartbroken on that scene. He's flying away from Mustafar. So of course he thought he lost him. But anyway, no, and then the whole thing happens where Leia gets kidnapped. And you were mentioning that's Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, the bounty hunter.
Yeah, like I remember seeing him. I was like, man, who's this creepy guy just chilling in the forest? And I'm gonna jump into a little bit of rant, just a complaint about this. The whole scene was just cheesy.
when
Like
they're chasing the little Leia.
even before that, you got
My
this. You
did
got
I tell
this.
you? So my brother had called me up because he watched Obi-Wan, and he told me that scene. He's like, I love those 2 episodes, but he goes, that scene where she's escaping. He goes, it was so bad, I was laughing out loud because it was so cheesy. I
Dude,
I thought it was fine, but I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
I didn't, and I'll give my reasonings here. And I'm sure a lot of people agree with it because I've been hearing a lot of complaints about it. I don't know what happened in post production or whatever, but my first complaint is you got Leia runs away from the place, runs out into the forest, sees this guy out in the open, just standing by the tree that she knows she's gonna climb. She's 10 freaking years old. Every 10-year-old I know that sees somebody is very intimidated by some random person, so they're oh, all right, let me go somewhere else. She
Yeah.
walks right up to him
Yeah.
and is like, okay, well, here I am. Who are you? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, all right, kid, you're dumb.
Yeah.
2, chasing starts to happen, and you got the 2 guys chasing her. One just randomly runs up the hill to the left. Made no sense to me why they went up there. There's like no
Well,
indication
it
of
cracks me up too because she runs right into him. They just look at her, and then she runs the other way. Then they go the other way.
yeah. And then she runs and slides under a branch, and the other guy seems like this is such a big obstacle he can't just push the branch to the side. You and I have hiked so many times that we've gone off trail, and branches like that are super easy to get around. Kid runs under it. If you're really determined, that branch is not going to stop you. That's weak
Yeah.
sauce. I feel
No,
like these bounty hunters were not worth the money what they're being paid to do.
I know. Well, I guess Reva is pretty clever to think, okay, there's a connection with this girl and Obi. Which again, how the freak does she know? But I guess she
She did research from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I guess she was snooping around, and I mean,
But
maybe she,
you look at Clone Wars, Kenobi barely had any connection to Bail Organa except after the Jedi purge on the temple.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't remember ever seeing Kenobi talk to Organa.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe they'll be able to explain it better, or maybe she's just, awesome, and for some reason, somehow she found out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how they explain it in the
I don't
upcoming
know.
episodes.
I find her character just very inconsistent.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on the fence still with Reva. I don't
want
love
her to be
Reva.
awesome.
I don't love her, but I don't hate her. I'm just kind of like, she's okay. I like her, which we'll get into the second episodes. I love her stunts. Like, her moves are pretty cool. So far, I don't know how she fights.
Even then, her moves are pointless.
Kind of cheesy. She's just doing flips for no reason.
Yes. Literally, she jumps off the thing, does a backflip, pushes the thing, done, does another backwards flip. It's like, okay, who are you trying to impress? You're running across the rooftops. Nobody's
she kind of looks like
watching
one of
you.
those like Marvel like villains or something I don't know, like the. I'm trying to think of which one, but you know what I mean. The way I don't know.
I mean, I get it. They're trying to show, okay, she's force sensitive, so let's do some cool flips just to kind of show that she has the force. But honestly, it was just completely pointless. And then when her and the fifth brother go back to the town, and then she starts to interrogate Owen.
Oh yeah.
She's just so chaotic. It drives me nuts. Like,
she just cuts that girl's cringeworthy. She cuts that girl's hands off just because that girl talked back to her. All right.
Here's another inconsistent thing between episode 1 and episode 2. She sees Owen. She's sitting there going, "You'll lose a hand. That way, if you reach for something, you'll remember us." Blah blah blah. And she goes on this whole spiel, and then she's like, "Hey, you know something." Blah blah blah. She goes up to Owen and starts talking to him, threatens him and his family. Yeah. And then second episode, you got that pretend Jedi. She goes up to him and she's like, "Oh, you know something about a Jedi? Let me mind read you." Like, oh yeah. But she leaves him alive. Threatened to kill Owen, didn't mind read him.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Mind reads this other guy and leaves him alive for no reason, just because she had a conversation with him.
I was surprised that guy had some definitely, I don't know, he was pretty bold. Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, okay, this guy's dead. He's done, because the way she is, and then she's like, oh, hey, I'll push you aside and whatever.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. She's ruthless. She's not. She's ruthless. She's not. I'm not sure. But
I can't tell if she's ruthless or not, to be honest.
So what did you think? So now, going back a little bit, so Leia gets kidnapped, and then Bail Organa shoots a message. He shoots the message to Obi-Wan that he wants only Obi-Wan to go rescue Leia. I guess for reasons. The story's about him, so I guess it could only be him. But I guess, I mean, he does know about Leia too.
Well, obviously, and I never really thought about it before, but I think it makes sense. Like, he's on Tatooine, he's watching over Luke, trusts Bail to watch over Leia. It only makes sense that he'd have some way to communicate. Sure. In case of a real emergency.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And they kind of mirror that. It's like, okay, well, you're the only one that knows how important she actually is. They don't.
Yeah. So he's obviously
just as important as the boy.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll have definitely more effort to find her for sure. I mean, she has to. She has to be found. It's kind of fun.
Like, other issue.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
My other issue is, okay, so by the time that Bill comes in, sees Kenobi in person, one, he knows exactly where he's at, so that's a security issue. Two, Bill goes, all right, first in the mission, he's like, hey, we have no leads. You're the only one that would be able to find her. Then he comes to him in person. Oh, yeah, they're on their way to Daiyu. Okay, well, now you don't need Kenobi to find her, because now you can just send an army. Now you can just send a garrison and just recover her easy. Yeah, you're right. What the heck's the deal with that? Kenobi's pointless at that point. Or is he just trying to be inconspicuous and not draw attention? Even though, like, they draw a lot of attention, with Obi-Wan being on the most, Daiyu's most wanted list. I mean, Basically, I mean, either way, Leia's not going to be the focus of attention because, like,
Oh, there
okay,
you go. It's on Obi-Wan, so I guess that's something.
we're just drawing Kenobi out. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to know she's force sensitive at that point.
So I think it's funny when Obi-Wan's getting ready to leave on that ship. He's walking around all disguised. But they're like, okay, so the key to finding Jedi, and then you start thinking, okay, it's well,
They
Obi-Wan's
can't
got
help themselves.
yeah, they can't help themselves. So Obi-Wan's walking around with the hood. He's looking more like Obi-Wan disguising Obi-Wan than before he wore. You know what I mean?
Basically,
He's walking, and then his lightsaber's hanging out. Like it's just. Oh, I just thought it was funny. So you
I
coming
thought
or
that was
not?
funny too, but that's just for the audience. I knew
Of
that
course,
one was just for like the.
no. Of course, it's just funny when you think of it like that. But I mean, obviously, it's not like anything that that it bothers me or anything. I just thought it was
No,
funny
yeah,
because the dude's walking around the hood, and even when you see him in the next episode on Dayu, he's walking around the hood, and it literally looks like the Obi-Wan from Attack of the Clones. It's like, oh, this is Obi-Wan right here wearing the hood. This
mm-hmm.
It looks even more like Obi-Wan than when he was trying to hide Obi-Wan.
You look
So
more like a Jedi than when you were trying not to be a Jedi.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's just what was kind of funny. But it's funny from the trailer. I thought Dayu was Coruscant for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering too, where all is Obi-Wan going to go in the series? I've been wondering. So he goes to Dayu. I wonder if he'll go anywhere else, probably to Alderaan to deliver Leia, or are they going to have this whole thing go on the entire 6 episodes?
That's what I'm trying to wonder. Is he going to be spending 6 episodes trying to get Leia back to Alderaan, or is he going to get
Is
her to
she get
Alderaan?
is she going to be Grogu for the Mandalorian, and she's just going to
I
be
was
with
thinking
him?
that John Favreau and Dave Filoni doing the dad and style characters.
Yeah. Oh, quick note too. If you notice, it's real quick. You see, because remember at the end of Revenge of the Sith, 3PO and R2D2 are given to Bail Organa, and he says have the
Mm-hmm.
protocol droid's
And
memory wipe.
3PO's they're doing
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
party.
at the party, and then if you look really briefly, R2D2 is there, and I didn't
Oh, I
notice it
didn't
the
see
second time.
R2.
If you just have to really look for it, it's kind of fun. They didn't show him like at all doing anything, any beeps. He's literally in the background, but he's there, and he's kind of carrying drinks like in Jabba's cell barge in
That's
Return of the
actually
Jedi.
pretty funny.
Yeah, so he's there because I mean, that was 3PO's former master. He even says in the original trilogy well, actually it says Captain Antilles, but Captain Antilles is the captain, I imagine, of Bail Organa's army. I mean, Antilles is an Organa is
That
a
would have been cool if
Alderaanian name.
that'd
So,
be cool if he made an appearance in the show.
Wedge Antilles or Captain
Mm,
Antilles.
Captain
I could
Antilles.
I could see Captain Antilles making an appearance. That would be appropriate for the timeline. I mean, it would work, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what
And then,
happens. Yeah.
and then before we jump into the second episode, I was just kind of curious with Breha. Like she dies one Leia's at a very young age. You think we'll see her die in the show?
No, they better not kill her. Well, no. Oh, I see what you're saying. Images. No, but because she's 10 years old in the show. She wouldn't be. I think she was talking about Padme, even though it doesn't make sense. I just think it's an inconsistency. I just think it's going to
Well,
be an
no,
inconsistency.
she definitely was talking about Padme because in the comics they kind of fix that whole problem
Yeah,
where Breha has a statue of Padme and she talks to Leia about Padme all the time
clever.
to give her,
That's
yeah,
damage control.
basically, yeah. So
That's
some of the
smart though.
authors in
Yeah,
the comics were smart enough to say, hey, all right, this is how we're
it's
gonna
a good
fix
idea.
this little
Yeah, yeah,
error.
yeah.
And
That's
so
it's
Leia
still
has memories
yeah.
because she was told the stuff.
Well, one of the older the original script, one of the older scripts in of Return of the Jedi. If you read the actual script, she talks about they actually go in, or Obi-Wan when he's talking to Luke on Dagobah, when he's telling him, your father, ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader, and he does that whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he starts talking, and then he goes into a whole spiel about Padme, which she wasn't named Padme then, but his mother. It talks about how she took her to Alderaan and how she was with her for quite a while before she died. So like up to the point where she was like 3 or 4 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
it was actually in the old script of Return of the Jedi. If you go back and read it, you could read those scenes. It continues. It's actually extremely. It's awesome. It's actually super awesome. But they changed it. It's not canon because the prequels came out and they did it differently, but
hmm
and I didn't realize that until I was reading the script one day, because I wanted to, and I was like, what the heck?
I'm
There's
gonna have to check
information
that
here
out.
about. Yeah, it actually works. I'll find it sometime. And I'll send you like a screenshot of it. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. Or you can post it on the That'd be a cool post actually on the
hmm
hotspot. So
I think so too.
yeah, we'll find it. We'll do a post on it. It'd be kind of fun. But
hmm
anyway, so yeah, so episode 2 is pretty much the Dayu adventure.
hmm
I
I
like
wanted to
the
throw one more thing before
yeah,
we
yeah,
jump
go
into
ahead.
episode 2. I'm sorry. One,
No.
one last thing. So Kenobi is on this planet for 10 years, buries his lightsabers. Anybody that knows anything about sandstorms and how deserts work, he goes back and finds his lightsabers, pulls out a
They're gone.
shovel.
They're gone.
Yeah, he literally pulls out a shovel and digs like a couple times, and then here it is, easy to find.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I guess.
I think it would have been a lot better if he just walks up, you see him kind of close his eyes and reach his hand out, and you see him kind of do some kind of like
Oh,
little
like some forcing to find
sound,
it. Yeah.
and then you see him struggling a little bit, and then you see something shift in the sand, and then that's when he goes and picks it up. I think that would have been so much better, because at this point it just seems like, okay, 10 years in the desert, the lightsabers are buried. He knows exactly where they are, no trouble, and digs it up, and it's still up close to the top of the sand.
Yeah.
Anything in deserts, it's lost, it's buried deep, because 10 years of sandstorms is not going to make it that easy to find.
That's true.
So I
Very
kind
true.
of had issues with that.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's still really cool, because you see he has both the lightsabers together, both his and Anakin's.
yeah, just like how Rey had Luke and Leia's buried
Mm-hmm. A
at the
nice
end of
little nod.
The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, for sure. That was cool.
But I mean, if it's that close to the surface, I wonder if he regularly checks on it.
I don't know. That's funny.
Either way, interesting.
Yeah, possibly. So
But
yeah,
that's
did
where
you
we
like?
get the little flash of his lightsaber as he boards the ship to head to Daiyu.
Yeah, no, that was a cool little shot. Um, are you coming? Um, so yeah, Die was cool. The uh, what was it? I liked that the Jedi guy, the mind reader guy. He was
Oh
actually
yeah, yeah.
with the magnets.
What's his
I
name?
thought
What's his name? Haja
I don't.
Estri.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because he's actually sort of a good guy, but he says it later in the episode, but he's like he's like, I'm not a bad guy. He's like, do I like credits? Yeah. He's like, you can buy a lot of stuff with credits. Do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of like he's like, but he's
Do a
like,
lot of bad stuff? Yeah. Do I regret it? Sometimes.
yeah. No, he was a great character. Like I thought he was hilarious. And then I like the kid. I like the kid when the kid runs in and he's like, we had him. Obi-Wan was here. And he's like, oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
Oh, no, that guy was fantastic. I thought that guy was great. He was a
I did like that character a lot.
yeah, no, he was super good. So, um, yeah, what did you think of this episode, the second episode?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, I had less complaints on this one than I did on the first one, and
Yeah,
even the first one didn't really have too many complaints, just consistency errors.
yeah, and the funny little kidnap scene that you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But this one
But the
was
planet
yeah,
reminded me of Nar Shaddaa. It's something from Legends.
uh-huh.
Just the way that it was designed, just from what I've seen in what was it, the Dark Forces series.
Hmm.
There's a planet very similar to this, and I thought it was cool.
And then Obi-Wan's daughter makes an appearance,
She does actually, yeah.
the one that tries to sell him the drugs. And then
hmm
she's like, here, just take this. You'll because he's looking for the girl, and she's like, okay, I lost my parents, and here, take this, and you'll forget all about her.
hmm Hey, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. That same thing, it reminds me of that scene in Mandalorian, the same thing with when Mando's on gosh, there's oh, Navarro, and uh what the heck, I can't think of his name. the boxer dude. It's the mine. Anyways, he tells him to take some spice. He's like, you'll forget all about the kid, because remember he's like
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about
yeah, that's right.
Grogu.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it reminds me of that scene. Gosh, why can't I think of Carl Weathers' character right now? I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
just like, what the heck?
Carl Weathers.
Oh,
I don't know why I
Grief
didn't think of
Karga.
that.
Grief
Grief
Karga.
Karga. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of. But
That's why I thought it was funny. It's like, why is Kenobi always attracting the drug dealers?
yeah, yeah. You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life.
And
So,
here's a heartbreaking moment. So Kenobi throughout the Clone Wars deals with clones a lot, and he's not your typical Jedi where a lot of the other Jedi just treated the clones like they're nobodies, right?
yeah,
And Kenobi actually had a connection to the clones, especially Commander Cody, whatever, right?
yeah,
And you see this veteran clone trooper just begging in the streets, and you see some hesitation from Kenobi.
yeah. Well, because of
Like,
obvious reasons. That's how I was actually
mm-hmm,
surprised he did anything, because most Jedi are going to be like, man, F these clones. Which
mm-hmm.
actually, I don't know if they'll ever use that as a plot, but makes you wonder post Empire, or actually during the time of the Empire, what do these Jedi think of these clones? Because these clones were clearly, do they know that they were brainwashed and manipulated? Do they still hold
For
grudges against these clones?
think about it,
Because
Kanan from Rebels and Captain Rex, their first
exactly.
interactions.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's what I think that, I'm surprised he had such
That's why I felt sad for Kenobi. Kenobi's like sees this clone trooper
yeah,
hesitant, and is like, you know what? Here,
take this.
Obi-Wan had compassion.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that was definitely yeah, that was it was cool to see Tamara Morrison make a cameo. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually wondering when they're going to show some clones. And speaking of which, man, I really hope we get. I'm not sure exactly, and I think they're kind of keeping it hitting. I'm not sure exactly what scenes they've filmed with Hayden Christensen, but I really hope we get at least like a Clone Wars flashback or something, some type of new
Well,
shot with Hayden Christensen and Anakin or
in
Obi-Wan.
an interview, Hayden mentions it's fun to come back and play these characters, and I don't know if he was mentioning him and Ewan playing the characters of
Sure.
Vader and Obi-Wan, or him speaking of his two characters, Vader and Anakin. From what I do understand, there will be a flashback to the Clone Wars. How brief it will be, I don't know.
Man, that could be super epic.
It's something I really want to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see a live action. In fact, I think it'd be really cool if they really want to give Hayden Christensen some time to shine. It'd be really cool to have a actual live action Clone Wars show. That would be
Mm-hmm.
freaking like a live action one with, I don't know, even if it's a mini series, that would just be absolutely awesome. Just to see the battles in like live scale action.
Mm-hmm. I
It'd
doubt
be
it will ever happen, but I agree. That'd be epic.
it'd be a very high budget TV show.
Very much so. Very high budget. And I know they definitely get their money's worth out of it. Fans would eat that up like crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got the actors playing them already. But I
Mm-hmm.
know Hayden Christensen's definitely they're they're just gonna
Using
keep
them.
getting. Well, yeah, they're just definitely using him, and he's pretty much back.
Ahsoka. JK. Maybe.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Well,
He
maybe
all
they'll
but
find,
confirmed it.
unless they find a young actress to play the Clone Wars version of Ahsoka, because she's the Ahsoka we have in
Mando.
Mandalorian is the post Return of the Jedi Ahsoka, so it's many years after. So
Maybe they'll figure it out, I'm sure. Which actually at Celebration, I thought it was really interesting because there was a panel with Hayden, Ewan, and then Ashley Eckstein. And she comes
yeah.
up to Hayden and says, hey, Sky Guy. And the crowd just went crazy.
That's cool. That's
Because that's
super
the
cool.
first time Hayden and I think Ashley met. So first time Anakin and Ahsoka meeting in real life.
Oh, that
So
was that was the first time they met in real life?
I believe so.
Oh gosh, that's
So it was a pretty epic moment.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
So Obi-Wan's trying to find Leia, and the kid's like, "Oh, I can take you to Jedi." And he's like, "Oh, they're all extinct, or they're all dead, or whatever."
Yeah.
What did you think of this guy, Haja Estries? Did you think he was an actual Jedi when you first saw him, or
I
did
actually did
you?
think he was. I thought he was an actual Jedi, but just kind of obviously was. I thought he was just using his Force abilities for financial gain. I thought it was
Mhm.
just, you know what I mean. I just thought he was. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a cool idea, actually. You know, hey, you got the Force. You don't care about getting caught, so make some money off of it.
Mhm.
So I thought he was. But I thought it was actually hilarious that he was just kind of playing it off. I thought it was funny.
I mean, I was the same as you. Like when I first saw him, I'm like, okay, interesting. I'm
Yeah.
like, this Jedi is just like just a scum of the Jedi or whatever. And then the more he talked, I was like, this guy's just a con artist.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what Obi-Wan figured out, I kind of figured out, it's just a bunch of magnets and tricks.
Yeah.
The other guy over the thing, this is a Jedi mind trick. I'm going into your head. It's like, okay. He's
Like, wow,
basically cueing the other
you're
guy
so
for his
strong with the
script.
Force.
I know.
Yeah, the Force is so strong with you. I know.
I loved his interaction with Kenobi. Kenobi's like, he's like, yes, I am. And then he bows his head, a Jedi. And then turns up and he's like, yes. He's like, simple 500 to find the girl, 300 to take you. Uh, the lights here are very unforgiving. And Obi-Wan's like, yes, they must be very unforgiving.
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan is just playing along, and he's like,
Yeah.
finally pulls out the gun, and he's like, all right, I've had enough of this. You
Yeah.
can tell me what I need to know.
Every rat knows the way to the sewer.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of
I know.
interesting to see Kenobi with a blaster.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so uncivilized. I like seeing him fight the guys, like seeing that he's still I like when he's fighting his it kind of reminded me of the scene in uh what is it? Revenge of the Sith when he's fighting Grievous and he kicks him and he's like, ah, like that.
Oh yeah, that's
He
right.
like he fights the guy, like punches him in his hand, he's like, ah, like it's just funny.
Again, these bounty hunters are clowns.
Yeah, no, they're pretty stupid.
Like, like seriously, Riva like hired the worst ones possible.
There's probably no other good ones around at that time, I guess, that were,
I
I
mean,
don't know,
Boba Fett, somewhere around
well
there.
fed. Are saying there. No, there's plenty
IG-88,
of for long.
Dengar.
There's plenty of good ones out there, but I mean, maybe she couldn't. Or actually, maybe Vader was using them because those are top-notch bounty hunters. So she doesn't want, anybody to know what
Wait,
she's
hold
up
on.
to.
Yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense. Maybe she's trying to be a little bit more discreet. Even though when the Grand Inquisitor finds out that she's basically alerted the whole city of Kenobi, he's kind of pissed. He's like, Riva.
Yeah. No, he was.
I kind
Yeah.
of
No.
like how he puts her in her place.
Yeah. No, he was super pissed though.
He's like, I
Freaking.
don't care what you think you're going to gain out of this. You're still going to be nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, stand down. We'll deal with you later. We're
Because
going to
she was.
capture Kenobi. Good job getting her here, but we're going to handle it from here.
Well, she was pissed when those guys let her, or when he got away. I thought it was cool how he used that chemical that he got from that
Oh,
room
yeah.
to
Everyone
get the.
bleeds.
Yeah. 'Cause you're bleeding all over my floor. You're just a man, Kenobi. Yeah, those guys weren't that cool, to be honest with you. That I'd say if there's anything I didn't like about that episode, those guys are could have been better bounty hunters.
Yeah. Good old
I
Cleve
did,
from Red Hot.
and then I thought it was I liked the whole interaction between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Leia. I always
It's
imagined
freaking
they had.
adorable.
Well, I always imagined they had some type of relationship before because of In A New Hope. She seems to be very familiar with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Help me,
I
Obi-Wan
thought you
Kenobi. You're my only hope.
I thought you were gonna say she's very familiar with being in a cell. It just seems like
Oh, well, there's that too. Well, there's that scene too when he goes in the cell. It kind of reminded me of the scene when Luke Skywalker, comes. Hey, I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue. I'm here
hmm
with Ben Kenobi. You're here with Ben Kenobi. We got your
yeah.
droids. Woohoo. No, but like in that scene, they basically kind of remind me of Obi-Wan when he finds her. He's like, hey, I'm here to rescue. I'm a friend of your father's. Let's go. I'm here with Bail Organa. You're with Bail. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it was no, it was cool how they have that whole little parallel with her. Yeah, you're right. She's very familiar with the cell. No, but for real though, I imagine that they had some type of former relationship before A New Hope. I don't know what
hmm
type, but she talks about Obi-Wan Kenobi like he's very known and he's a friend of the father's. And if he was just on Tatooine the whole time, it wouldn't really make as much sense. So it kind of makes sense that he's done stuff for the Organas. And now during the time of A New Hope, she's asking for his help, you know, kind of,
Mhm.
which is sad because it's like my dad just did this to you like a few years ago, you know, pulled you
Yeah.
out of your solitude,
And
you know. I like how he like gets her clothes and she's like, I want these gloves too, and he's like, all right, and the gloves too. And then she's like, yeah, are you a Jedi? Can you make me float? She's like, I want to
I
float.
want to float.
Like typical
I was
little
thinking at
girls.
this point, I'm like, this girl is super annoying. And then I was on a Discord call with some people from the server,
Yeah,
and we were discussing it. It's like, well, I mean, she is a 10-year-old, so it
10-year-old
is
kid.
very,
She
yeah, it's.
she's pretty much the same as Anakin in episode 1, you
Mhm.
know. Um, I was gonna say, she she does float in the Last Jedi. So eventually she uses the Force and learns how to float. I don't know if that's what
I
it
did
was like.
not put those two together. That's actually pretty funny.
So don't worry,
I
girl.
really don't
Just
know if
hang in
that's their
there.
intention
You're gonna float
or
one
if that
day.
was their reference, but hilarious.
You will float one day. Relax. You know. No, but I did think it was a little. I guess I mean it made sense, but I think the one part that was a little noise when she was like running away from him, like all of a sudden she got mad at him because she's like, oh, they're here to get you. They got me so they can get to you. That's the, you know, screw you, I'm out of here, you know. And she's running off, and he's like chasing her, and then she's kind of making a scene, kind of like a little bit how that guy Nari from the first episode kind of gets Obi-Wan, like she's almost freaking exposing him, you know. And he's like, dude, we're
Yeah.
good. I've got you. You're gonna be back in the palace by tonight. And of course, you know, she's gotta run and make a scene, you know. But then again, of
And
course,
somehow makes it onto the rooftops.
that rooftops, well, that's where Reva kind of shows like some of her, I don't know, necessary power, but it looks cool, her
She's sitting
showmanship.
on the rooftops like she's Batman.
Yeah. Which don't yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know, she's just sitting up there, and then you see the Grand Inquisitor. He's like, man, what the freak? This girl's just trying to do everything the way she wants to do it. So we're
I would
gonna
have killed her if I was the Grand Inquisitor. She is
oh
so
yeah,
insolent.
super lippy, and
Hmm.
she pretty much she pretty much he pretty much told her, it's like, all right, okay, well, we're gonna find good job, okay, or you've got to remember that you're what do you tell her, you're the least of us.
Hmm.
He said, you never forget you're the least of us. Basically, he was slamming her down the whole time, and maybe that's part of her thing, but at the same time she's kind of asking for it. She's not really
It feels like
falling in
that.
line. She kind of just does whatever the heck she wants.
I
um
feel like you're not doing enough.
yeah, exactly. And he's like, you know, hey, next time, you know, we're bringing him in to Vader, okay? I'm
And
gonna
you
get the
didn't even
garrison
bother
here.
telling us. You're just acting
Yeah,
on your own. I
exactly.
thought
Yeah,
we were a
you're
team. I
basic.
thought we were a
Yeah,
team. I thought we
yeah,
were a team.
you're basically going rogue. Oh gosh.
Rogue
Um,
One.
yeah, Rogue One. Um, but anyways, I was gonna say, yeah, it's kind of funny. She just went on the rooftops, freaking gets the signal out, so the whole freaking planet knows she's there. And
Dinosaur alien bounty hunter or whatever. Am I the
yeah,
only one that saw that guy?
oh, yeah,
He looks like a T-Rex.
no, yeah, no, exactly. But I do love the scene. I love how she's when she's running from, she jumps off the building. I don't like that scene. That was kind of dumb. But she
This is
jumps
how
off
I
the
think
building.
it.
Yeah.
I felt that scene should have played out differently. Like she should have ran, jumped, and then that's when Kenobi should have reached out with force and caught her because obviously she wasn't gonna make it. And he's like, boom.
Yeah, where he's like,
I think her
yeah.
falling and holding onto that rope was unnecessary. I think they should have done it the other way.
Well, and why would she even like jump? You know, and he's like, yeah, like when he's doing his hand, he's like, hold on tight, hold on tight.
Yeah.
And then, and then she falls, and then does the whole force thing. I mean, it was cool to see him, you know, bring out the force finally. But you know, one thing I was,
It
but not
looked like
this
he
episode.
struggled.
Oh, big time. Well, he's like super rusty. You could tell he's
Hmm.
super rusty. Even when he's like fighting, it's like he's getting hurt, and he's just kind of like, you know, he reminded me of like a Harrison Ford fighter, kind of like fighting, but kind of looking all tired and worn out, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I the whole time this episode, I'm waiting for this guy to use lightsaber because Rev is doing her thing. I'm like, okay, he's gonna freaking fight this girl, and it's gonna be awesome, you know. And obviously they're probably saving that for later. But I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so he's gonna fight Reva, and he's gonna show her what a real freaking master is. And but then again, I'm starting to get worried because we know he's rusty. But then he escapes with Leia. Obviously, I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but we'll go back to
Yeah,
some of the scenes I skipped. But he escapes with Leia, so I'm like, okay, well, we know. We're assuming he's fighting Vader because they're talking about that in the advertisements for the show. So is he gonna fight Reva too? I don't really know. I don't know where they're going with her.
I
Or is
think
he?
he'll fight her first, and that's going to be his training. And it seems like he's so rusty when he fights Vader.
Yes.
He's definitely gonna lose.
That's what I'm thinking. But then, if they want to make it consistent with the New Hope, he has to win because Obi-Wan says, when I last left you, I was the learner now, or I was but the learner. And now I am the master. No, only a master of evil, Darth. Like he
Hmm.
basically is talking like he lost last time they fought. So they were clearly talking about Revenge of the Sith. Now that they're doing this show and they want to have this rematch, that if they want to keep it consistent, he has to lose again, which is kind of embarrassing. But so I don't know how they're going to play it out in the show, right? I mean, they got to
That's a
keep
very
it.
interesting point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never thought of that one.
Hmm.
Because in that leaked footage, we see Vader basically just trashing him. And from everything that we hear so far, he's going to trash him. And
But now, of course, we go into. I like the scene where the Grand Inquisitor does the little spin thing for
oh
the
yeah, with the lightsaber, I thought that
for
was
the
cool.
flea for flea. He freaking
Yeah.
gets squashed. But the what was I saying? The scene where they're on the rooftop and you think Kenobi's gonna fight, and he pretty much sends Leia off to the ship. The Grand Inquisitor comes. What do you think about Riva killing him? Come on, I mean, this is he's Rebels is made by Disney. It's clearly canon, so he's got to survive.
I mean, I think they're just going overboard with the whole force healing thing. And that's where I think it's going to go.
Oh no,
Is he somehow
oh
gets
no,
healed, or
force healed.
he's taking, or he might be still alive and get taken to a back to tank and healed,
Mm-hmm.
or it's not even the same Grand Inquisitor.
Or yeah, I was gonna say there could be another Grand Inquisitor. He could he could
Hmm.
he could be the other Grand Inquisitor. But the thing is, he's dressed and looks his markings, like everything about him is very. It's the same. It's pretty much the same thing except for he's a more round version of him, and he's not
Hmm.
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, but and he even acts like him. The Grand Inquisitor from Rebels is the same kind of educated
Hmm.
personality, very similar,
Sophisticated.
very sophisticated, very sophisticated. And I'm thinking like you're saying. I'm thinking he's got to survive somehow, and maybe he's the one that actually ends up killing Reva. Maybe or Reva. Maybe he comes back and is like, "All right, you're going down." Because she's nowhere to be seen in Rebels. We get the seventh sister, the fifth brother in Rebels,
Hmm.
and don't we get we get another we get that other Inquisitor that's always flying with the lightsaber. I don't
Hmm.
know. I think that's like the eighth brother or something. I
Something
don't.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or the sixth brother.
Um.
I'm trying to remember. Her sixth sister. I
Yeah.
don't. I have to
Interesting.
rewatch Rebels. It's been a while. So
I'm hoping to see more of the Grand Inquisitor, but I think he might be done. I think
with the
this is their
show,
way of taking him out of the picture, so Reva can kind of take the limelight.
which kind of sucks because I liked him a lot more in Riva. No offense, but we'll see how she goes. She has potential, but so far, like I said, I'm on the fence with her. I don't love the girl. I don't hate
She just
her.
needs to tone it down a bit.
Yeah, she's not as interesting as the Grand Inquisitor. He's much more intriguing when he's on screen. Like his presence is when he shows up, I'm into it. I'm sold. Um, but no, here's a big question for you for this episode. What did you think about Riva being the one that told Obi-Wan about Anakin, giving him
Oh,
that?
I hated it.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned before. I
No.
think
Well, why?
canon states that no one knows who Vader is, and it annoys me that the Inquisitors. I don't know if she's the only Inquisitor that knows. Wouldn't make sense if she did, or if she
Yeah.
was.
Sure.
But I hated that she told Obi-Wan that Anakin was still alive.
Yeah. No, I thought it was odd that of all people that she knew, it's this big secret nobody knows. Only a couple know. There's like a handful. You can count on one hand how many people know Anakin is Vader. Is pretty much Yoda, the Emperor, Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan thinks he's dead.
Well, I don't even think that Yoda knows. Yoda and Obi-Wan think Anakin's dead.
Oh, because Yoda think that's right. Yoda thinks he's dead.
Because Obi-Wan went to Mustafar, left him on the lava beach. As far as they know, that's the end of it. I think it would have been more dramatic if Vader shows up, and then that's when the big reveal is to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree with you. Or if they had a whole like Luke, I'm your father. I know they did that with Ahsoka again, but it's still
Obi-Wan.
epic.
I was your apprentice.
Well, does Obi-Wan? Well, no. But here's the thing: is Obi-Wan does know about Darth Vader too, though, because
but he doesn't know that he's Anakin.
No, in Revenge of the Sith, Yoda, after he watches the hologram, he says,
"Oh yeah, that's right."
Yeah, he says, "Gone, your apprentices, consumed by Darth Vader." Which I thought it was kind of weird that they even, I don't know, going back to Revenge of the Sith, I almost wish that he didn't know he was Darth Vader. I think
maybe it's just more realization.
Yeah.
Maybe he's always known and he's trying to forget, and
you're probably right.
Sitting here like
how would he not
pushing
sense
into
him?
his.
And how would he not
I think
sense
Riva's just basically just pushing. So like Anakin is Vader. He's still alive, and Obi-Wan's like, yeah, I've been trying to pretend that he wasn't.
He's in denial.
Yeah, exactly. And this is becoming too real for him.
Yeah. But that I love how, and it's almost like you said, he probably hasn't even said the name Anakin for 10 years. And he like the screen zooms in on him and he says Anakin like it's hard for him to say.
Yeah.
And he says the name, and then I love it how they go to the shot of, I'm assuming that's Hayden Christensen. He looks way too bulky to be Hayden Christensen, but maybe it's just the way the shot is. But man, it's I'm assuming it's Hayden Christensen.
I'm pretty sure it's him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So,
and I love that shot.
Which is cool that Hayden Christensen's back, but I want more. And just like
you'll get more.
Well, Vader in the mask, you don't get to see it. It's not Hayden Christensen. I mean, it is, but you don't like. They could put any tall person in there, and then they're gonna have James Earl Jones probably voice, and you're not gonna even sense Anakin. But I want to see Anakin.
We'll know.
Yeah, I want to see Anakin as an actual flashback, like some scenes with him and Obi-Wan together, which is the only way they can do it.
Which we'll get.
Yeah, for sure. But
here's another issue with that like final scene, like with Reva and Kenobi. Kenobi gets on the ship. He's taking off with Leia. Mm-hmm. She just stands there. Wait, I will find you, Kenobi. You can't have plans, blah, blah, blah.
We will defeat you. Or something.
Girl, you've got the Force. You've been doing all these crazy flips and stuff, and here you're just standing. You can't even jump on the ship and try and, or even throw your lightsaber.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you're not even doing anything to stop them.
Yeah, no, it's
like in the animated series, we see all this crazy stuff with them, and then here you got this very inconsistent character.
Yeah, I'm not going to kill you
today. Not today.
That was kind of cheesy.
You're not going to die. Not today. Not until he gets to you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens with this. I'm very curious because I don't know where they're going with the next episode, and I'm kind of glad there is only 6 episodes, so that way they can just get straight to the point and have a fun adventure. I'm curious now where Obi-Wan's going to go, like when he's going to go back. Obviously, you'll go back to Tatooine on the last episode, but I'm curious where this little adventure is going to actually take him.
This is where I'm kind of curious too, because he's got Leia. Inquisitors know Leia's from Alderaan. Mm-hmm. He's gonna take her back there.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's gonna be any type of interception there. If Kenobi's just gonna like, hey Leia, I'm putting you on the shuttle, or he's gonna meet with Bail Organa's people and do an exchange somewhere else.
Well, I feel like whatever happens, Reva's gonna have to die. She can't survive this because she'll continue to be a nuisance. So somehow she's gone. She's gonna die by the end of the show.
Oh, she will, and that's all I'll say. I'm not gonna say who kills her, but
yeah, no, I know
she's gonna die.
I just know she is by the way the story's going, and by, like you said, she knows too much, so she's gonna have to go. Someone's gonna have to take
Man,
her out.
I'm holding back because I really want to say what's gonna happen, but
All right, let
because
me
I don't
ask you
like
this:
what they do with their character.
you don't like what they do with their character? Okay.
No.
See, I saw one of those YouTube videos, and I didn't watch it because I didn't want to. I wanted to be excited about the show, and I didn't want to ruin. But there was a YouTube video, and I saw it was one of those ones that kind of makes fun of a lot of the in your face political agenda crap that people
Mhm.
do, and it said something about the Obi-Wan show on the title, and I won't say what I saw or what it said, but I was like, I don't even want to watch that because it just sounds negative. And I want
Mhm.
to be excited, so I'll just watch it for what it is, and we'll see where they go. But hey, if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. So far, I enjoy the show, but I don't know. It's just barely taken off, so it's got plenty of time. But I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with Ewan McGregor no matter what he does. I mean, he's always entertaining. Um, I don't know. We'll
No,
see. We'll
you're
see.
right.
Yeah, and of course he plays the character just as well as you know as he did back in 2005.
Mhm.
In
I know a
1990.
lot of people complained a lot about the acting in the series, but Ewan, I'd probably say, is very consistent and good acting. Him and Owen.
Yeah, Owen was fantastic, man. Owen was great. I mean, Joel Edgerton's a pretty established actor. He's been in a lot of movies, so
Mhm.
he's pretty good. You know what would be kind of fun? I don't know what they have, and they're not going to have what I'd like to see, but I'd like to see some other characters somehow make appearance. I'd like to see like a flashback with like Padme, um, which that was a cool little reference. We forgot to mention this episode as one
Oh,
was
that's right.
yeah
Yeah,
the
that's a
Padme
very
reference.
important reference.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That
Now
was really
what?
good.
Nothing. You just remind me of somebody.
Yeah.
Was she a Jedi? No, but she was
You
very stubborn, just like you. I'm not stubborn. Yes, you are. I'm not.
you Master Windu gave me strict orders to stay here. He gave you strict orders to protect me. And I'm gonna go. What does it say? I'm going to help Obi-Wan. If you plan to protect me, you'll just have to come along.
Yep, basically.
No, it's
But that was a really cool reference.
yeah,
I
no,
know
it was
before you're asking, it's like, oh, do you think we'll get any reference to Padme? I'm like, I thought of you. I was like, yep, there it is.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. So well, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to look forward to
Hmm.
this show. I'm excited to see what they do in the next episode. I'm probably gonna watch it at midnight, or I don't know, or I'll just watch it Wednesday morning. But I couldn't even sleep when these episodes came out, and I was just like, this is too exciting. I gotta watch these. I don't usually do that for shows, but it's Obi-Wan. I mean, I've been real excited about this show
That's
for a
right.
long
I
time.
was texting
So
you that night. I'm like, dude,
yeah, no, I
my
know, and so is my brother. My little brother Isaac is like all into he's a big fan, so he was texting me about it, and I was like, you know what? If I don't watch this right now, I'm going to get spoiled. I'm gonna hear
hmm
something that's gonna ruin. I just got to get up, and so I was like, I'm gonna watch this right now. I don't care how late it is. so
I was
so I
imagining you
watched.
acting like Bilbo, getting your coffee and your
Yeah,
snacks.
no, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. No, it's definitely no, it's hard to get me out my door. Once I get out my door, I get on the adventure.
Hmm.
So that's what it is. But right on, man. Well, let's go ahead and
So
yeah.
here's gonna be my final question.
What?
I think this is something I want to add to the podcast. Is how would you rank these
How would I rate?
out of
Oh, that's
10?
a good question.
Each episode.
That's
How
okay.
would you rank them?
So honestly, episode one, I'd say 9 out of 10. I love the first
Okay.
episode, especially from the beginning to end. It was solid. It was solid.
Hmm.
Of course, I mean, I actually liked all the little Leia stuff, Alderaan. There's just a lot of exciting stuff. I was just super excited the whole time. Episode two, I thought it was really good. I'd say episode two, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It
Okay.
wasn't it, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was entertaining enough. Um, it did the job, but I know typically on these shows, it's like the second, third episode sometimes are the slower ones, and then it kind of starts picking up again on these miniseries. Usually the pilot's good, and then sometimes it's like this. I feel like with like Mandalorian, I feel like it was always the second episode was a little slowish. then once you get to like the third episode, it starts getting a lot more exciting because there are only like 7 or 8 episodes, and then
Mm-hmm.
like the second season of Mandalorian was the Ice Spider episode, which was like, it was still a decent episode, but it was like one of the slower ones. And then you get to episode 3 where you get Bo-Katan, and then it just really starts taking off.
I mean, since there's only like 6 episodes, I don't think we'll really get too much filler, to be honest.
I don't think
At
so
least I'm
either.
hoping.
I don't think so either. I think if you only got 6 episodes, you're gonna have to just progress forward. Otherwise, you're gonna get stuck. And yeah. So, anyways,
Because they
7 out
didn't
of 10.
build up to that final bit. So 7
Yeah.
out of 10. All right.
What about you?
For me, I'd say 8 out of 10 for the first episode, and then I'm with you at 7 out of 10 for the second.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I think a lot of my discussion kind of describes why I ranked it the way it was.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, there's
Um,
definitely a lot to love, but there's some few negatives in
Lazy
there.
writing.
Yeah, there's what is it, a skank in the scud pie.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, they're not like really big complaints. I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the episode. So
Same here.
I'm really excited to see what's going to come forth. So
I am too, and I'm actually
Kenobi.
I'm actually intrigued that the end of it, and I don't know, I gotta be careful around the internet because I feel like sometime between now and the next 3 weeks, if it's out there, I'm gonna end up seeing it somehow in some video,
No. This comes from. I'll edit this part
like an
out. This
inside
comes
source.
from Lucasfilm. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Well, I'm glad I don't know and I don't want to know. I want to just watch it
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Hold some discipline. Don't text me if
So
you don't really want to know.
so all I got of what is that you're not happy with what happens to Reva.
I think it's anticlimactic. Yes.
For sure. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see
Indeed.
what happens. Right on, man.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to us yet again. We really appreciate you guys joining us for the discussions. So be sure to like and comment. We'd love to have you guys part of the discussion as well. Especially when you guys like and comment, it helps people find us better when there's more activity. So be sure to share with your friends. Also, be sure to check our link tree down below in the description. We got our Discord, we got our Instagram, also our Teespring store. So you can check out some of our shirts. And we've just recently affiliated with Entertainment Earth. So we're going to be throwing some products into our link tree. We'll be throwing them up on the Instagram. So keep an eye out for select products that we think you guys will like, stuff that stands out for us. So yeah, thanks again for joining us, guys, and we will catch you for the next episode.
Till
Echo
next time.
2 out.
Echo 5 out.
May the Force
Be with you.
always.